All right, everybody, you see the title. This is about Noah Lyles and who has he become? Like, really? I was thinking about this just before the 200-meter happened last night. And I said, you know what? If he doesn't get this win, he actually, ironically, will be more similar to Sebastian Coe than he would be to where he's trying to strive toward and outdo Usain Bolt. And the reason being is because if you guys know the history of Sebastian Coe, here's going to be the difference. Yes, Noah Lyles doesn't have a world record. Yeah, that aside. And for the people that don't know, Sebastian Coe was dominant in the 800. It's like the 800 and Sebastian Coe went hand in hand, and he had the world record for a very long time in that in the 800. So, but when he went to the Olympics in 1980 and 1984, he could not get a win. He could not get a win in his main event. So, when we look at this, we got to keep the context in mind about the history. So let's look at Sebastian Coe. Here it is right here. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. 1980, second, you see that? There you go. 1984, second. But he somehow came by in his weaker event, and he got a win in the 1500s in 1980 and 1984. So the way I'm looking at this is he's moving closer toward the Sebastian Coe area than he is for the Usain Bolt, and that's all right too, as far as within the sport. Now, here's something that I want to bring up with Sebastian Coe and an interview here, which I think we have to keep in mind when we're considering the sport. Take a listen.
That you were given. So when I took the role, there were three questions I asked myself. The first was, how do we make decisions that are clear and transparent so that the chair...
It's on 2x speed, so hopefully you guys can understand that, but here you go.
...of the athletics club in Croydon knows that when my council makes a decision, why we've made it, the way the decision is relayed, you've got to cut the undergrowth out and let them be able to see why you've made that judgment. The second question, it's a tougher one, and Sport is going to have to ask it, and we did. Yeah, in Croydon.
Okay, so he's talking about, he was asked a question about integrity in the sport and things like that, but this is something else. This is what is important.
When my council makes a decision, why we've made it, the way the decision is relayed, you've got to cut the undergrowth out and let them be able to see why you've made that judgment. The second question, and it's a tougher one, and Sport is going to have to ask it, and we did, is who the hell do you want in your sport? What are their motivations?
Yeah.
What is the integrity here? And then you have to ask yourself a third question, which you can't really answer until you've dealt with the first two, which is, well, how do you then grow the sport? How does it remain salient, interesting, relevant in the lifestyles of young people? And that's not a competition with other sports. That's a competition with the entertainment world, all the other demands that, young people have. And that's a good thing. All
right. So the reason why I'm bringing this up as well, Sebastian Coe is the president of World Athletics, IAAF, and he's been calling the shots for the last two terms that he's had, and he got voted back in again. So everything that you guys are seeing from basically like 2015 on, really, like the bigger moves with the world championships, because I think he took over just before that, but you didn't see any effects in 2013. But 2015 on, that's been Sebastian Coe changing up a lot of things to make it more entertaining, make the track meets easier to find, change up the format of the Diamond League, try to bring in more money for the development of the areas. Like there's more development in athletics programs in Africa. They got a third, just slightly more, is 34% in Africa, 33% in Europe. So those are the two biggest areas that they're investing all of their money in. And then here he's talking about basically an integrity unit, about, testing the athletes a lot, and then them taking over instead of, and he said it right here in this interview, I'm not going to go over, but you guys can go check him out. He said that in the past, there would be, maybe there's some political pressure that they can put on the organization and say, yeah, let's let this person slide. So like when certain countries, like in Eastern Europe or something like that, maybe they were found out earlier than what was notified with everybody else. They instead may have been able to put some pressure on some people and say, nah, we don't want that. Or in, Western Europe, right? Or in other locations. So what he said was he created an integrity unit to separate that. Now, the reason why, another thing I'm bringing up here, since I already covered that topic, is look, Noah Lyles is bringing in the action. You got to bring in the young people. Noah Lyles brings in the young people. A lot of people are complaining about him, mainly the old heads. You got some young heads that are doing that. We need some more people that's really feeding off the energy. This is what I said with Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri is an unfortunate casualty right now, with nobody really bouncing off of her there. Carl Lewis tried to do this before, and really he complained about USATF really holding him back and hamstringing him. And so, or maybe it was the shoe companies or something, but Carl Lewis, he had a tweet talking about, hey, somebody's got to do it, to put themselves out there, to take the consequences, the good, the bad, the ugly that comes with being basically the face. There could be one main face, and then there are other people. If nobody's really bouncing back and doing some trash talk, it's just going to leave the one person. He absorbs everything on his own, because this is what will happen, okay? Usain Bolt was doing this thing. He was talking his mess. Johan Blake kind of tried, and then, to be honest, let's be honest here. The Jamaican athletes are, from my view as an outsider looking in, and from several other people around me, afraid of Jamaica. Like, Johan said he wanted to go train in the US, but then he decided not to because he was afraid of the backlash that would happen. Look, dude, they already got on your ass anyway. If you were going to do that, you got to do what's best in your career. It's not you portraying anything. You stayed in Jamaica, and look, you still were struggling. Things were going the way they were. And obviously hindsight is 2020. But he didn't want to do that. There's a lot of athletes that really aren't really trying to say too much. They kind of hint and indirectly say things that they maybe wish they could say, right? But the public is going to rip them apart, and they're kind of nervous about that. Let's all be honest here. Now, when it comes out here, we need more people feeding back and forth on it. Sha'Carri is going to be big-er with somebody feeding off of her. The sport is big-er when somebody's feeding off of it. NBA, NFL, you got people, personalities coming in. Tobogo, he kind of showboats and trash talks and stuff, and then he said that comment earlier, which I think it was partially sarcastic, but at the same time a little bit more serious. You need people where he said he's not arrogant and a big talker, big mouth, whatever. Hey, look, I'm gonna have my reaction, and then that gets people talking. That's the whole point. You get people talking. Some of it's trash talk, but you don't need to be trash talking and it just don't make sense. That doesn't help. People just look at that as whiny and arguing. And that happens a little bit in sports too. So that part is relevant. Then we get to this part right here. Where's that at? Nope, that's too far. Where he talks about the globalness of it.
That is true. There are only two truly global sports. I'm probably going to get shot down for saying this. It's football and track and field. You know, our World Championships is, we have 211, was 213, 211 countries now. But football and track and field, they are the two true global sports. They're done everywhere.
Yeah, fair enough,
and it's the universal language.
Commercially, not so. But
No,
commercially, absolutely.
No, football is the I don't need to tell you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's, it not only pays the piper, it calls the tune, and then occasionally rewrites the symphony. I mean, it's in control.
Yeah, so with that part being said, in order for track and field to get bigger, you need more than just Noah Lyles, because he just is the target out there. And when he leaves, then there's a void. That's what happened with Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt brought a temporary bump to viewership. And then what happens if he's gone and there's nobody to take his place? Remember, were saying this person's boat, this person, Akam Sani Brown. Remember, they're saying that person's boat. Leslie Tobogo, he could be boat. This person could be boat. This person, this whatever. They didn't say that about Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles said, I'm going to do some things on my own and take it into my own hands. And whether it happens or not, guess what? He's going to be doing the talking. You know, when people came in there thinking they're going to come into the NBA, think about Kobe Bryant. He was like, yeah, he literally copied, copy paste Michael Jordan. He even got a number to one up him. He got a number to one up him. He came in being a ball hog and everything like that. Then he learned to trust his teammates more, learned to pass the ball a little bit more. But he was trying to be a carbon copy of Michael Jordan, emulate him so that he could surpass him. That was his whole thing. And it was very well known. That means his personality was on fire. Him trash talking, him going to practice in the morning, these things. That's what's necessary. We need to see more of that with track and field. That is the thing. But, hey, I don't think it's a bad thing if he becomes like a Sebastian Coe. If he doesn't win his own better event, but he just wins the 100, which is the premier event. And that's why Sebastian Coe's name got even bigger, too, internationally, instead of just, you know, the 800 in Britain, because the 1500 is the premier event. So, you know, ironically, even if your better event's something else, if you win the blue ribbon events, which are the 100 and 1500, hey, your name gets spread further and wider than anything else. 10,000 meter champion, who is that? That's what people will do. The 5,000, who is that? Those are those crowds that like that. But what most people, including if they're not really fans of one or the other, some, you know, sprinters will watch the 1500. Some of the distance crowd will watch the 100. They, you know, a lot of people will watch the 100, probably more than the other way around. And there you go. So what do you guys think about my comparison, especially the older people? Y'all know who Sebastian Coe was. Y'all saw him growing up. A lot of y'all old enough to remember him growing up either as kids or as teens or, you know, low 20s. What do y'all think about that? I think that would be a very good one, because Sebastian Coe, he was a trash talker. He was up there. When somebody's up at that high level, most of these athletes are kind of like had that I'm going to win mentality and you ain't going to mess with me, especially the ones that, you know, unironically tend to excel. The ones that tend to excel, they kind of got that mindset. Hey, number 2, come up there and start trash talking. Bednarik, come on, let them know. Come on. Fred Curley, get back to it. You know, the thing is, and I can understand this, they probably don't want to do that unless, because, you know, the public could kind of rip you apart. But the way I look at this is, if I see somebody there, I'm going to talk my mess. And then when I lose, I'm just going to be like, yeah, you got me today. Yeah, you got me. Like Fred Curley, he was like, man, talk your ish, man. That's how it is. I think that's where he's at. I don't typically trash talk myself until I start winning. So I can understand in track and field, it's that risk. If you're not already winning, if you're not already there, it's like you don't want to trash talk. And for all the bots that are coming here and the people will say, well, he's not like Usain Bolt. Man, get over it. Okay? That's what I got to say. Get over it. Y'all holding on to Bolt. Not even to the extent that the Americans have been holding on to Michael Johnson. Nobody was holding on to Michael Johnson like that. Like, there was a couple of comparisons, something like that, but it's not to that extent. It's like, it's not that desperate, bruh. Y'all kind of like desperate. Somebody else is up in here winning, and you got to hold on to somebody that is not even in the sport no more. Like, not competing. Who's your current winner? That's where it is. We got to only compare the people that are there. Okay, we're going to bring up Usain Bolt because his name is going to be there. He's going to get bigger, kind of like Michael Jordan. He's going to be brought up all the time. Great. Fantastic. Now, once we get that out of the way, who is the person that's there? That's what you got to think. So, with that being said, I'll catch you all on the next one. And you've been listening to Nick, and this is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. Like, comment, share, and press that join button to join our membership here on the YouTube channel. Peace out.